So this was a question that we've set out to answer these days, and we're not getting very far on it. So we're going to continue next class as well. But I want to go back to this. What I talked about, this all stemmed from something we're going to come to in a hot minute here. But this came from the question of sexual assault and exaggeration, all this kind of stuff, right? So exaggerations, how much happens? And so what people very often go to, especially people in majority groups, will often go to questions of exaggerations. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe it's some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a half-truth. But then you get false allegations. Maybe it's not really true. It's false completely. And if you're in the majority group, then that's kind of where you're going to be more likely to lean in that direction. You just are. It doesn't matter. And so here's what I would say to you all, right? Yeah, there are times when people claim racism or they claim discrimination and it didn't happen. And so it's like, okay, I got it. And the more you dig into the stories, the more you hear stories, the more you sort of get finely tuned into going like, that sounds a little fishy to me. Or maybe so, but you're only going to get there if you hear a ton of stories and if you're really in the middle of everything that's going on. So here, I'll give you one. Here's one that when I saw this right away, I was like, So that was the headline right here. These two guys, two African-American passengers, are claiming the U.S. Airways employee refused to let them into first class unless they changed out of their hoodies and jeans. Okay? Right away. So you read that. How many of you would read that? Be like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's racist. Look at those guys. Yeah, they just made them change out. Who knows what listing is? Who lists in here? Have you flown first class?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so tell us what you've learned about flying. What's your uncle tell you when you show up at the airport, fly first class?
We're not guaranteed to get on the plane, first of all. Second of all, he tells me always to dress appropriately. So that would be like slacks and a nice dress shirt. And then on top of that, we have to wait until boarding to even know if we're getting on the flight or not.
And so when your uncle's wife, is your uncle married to a woman? His wife? Okay.
Yes.
When she flies, what's she have to wear?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but probably something. She's a school teacher, so I'm sure she dresses pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you because I know. But yes, she has to dress up also, right? So here's what happens. Employees get a certain number of tickets, and they can hand those tickets out to family members. But, it gets harder and harder when it's like you're a nephew. So you're like at the fourth level down. Like you're almost never going to get a seat these days because flights are so full, right? So, but in order to use these tickets, even your uncle, when he flies non-rev like that, even he has to dress up. You got to dress up. It's a non-revenue ticket. So it tells you, like, yeah, you can use this, but you're like a guest of the airline. These guys were flying non-rev. They were guests of the airline. And the person in their family who got them the tickets knew that. And these guys knew that. When they filed the lawsuit, they knew that because they were told that. And that's part of the ticket. And this is a bullshit lawsuit, and it went nowhere. And these guys, it's just a bullshit claim. They have not a leg to stand on. They're told, their relative didn't tell them to dress up, so you're going to get kicked out. I almost got kicked out for wearing a shirt like this and a tie. So it's like so I saw that immediately and I said, oh, that's a non-rev issue before I even read the article. And I knew. So okay, it happens. It happens. People make stuff up. It's misunderstandings. It's exaggerations. It's half-truths. Like these guys are thinking like, hey, we're going to get a lawsuit. We're going to get some money from them. And we know it's a lie. Now we know it's a lie, but we're going to go through with it anyway because maybe we'll get some money. And so part of dealing with the stuff about in a class like this is like, you got to be really thoughtful. So here, we're going to now get thoughtful. How about this one? What happened? First off, this flies all over Twitter, all over the weekend, all over social media. People see it. They see this right here, and this guy just becomes like public enemy number 5, I guess, right? And all these kids, right? all these kids. It's become the stupid white kids with the Make America Great Again hat or whatever, right? They just become like this thing, so we can just laugh at them. Nobody's really there. But this sounds to me like, first off, I'm going to give you my take on a couple things, okay? I'm just going to give you the way I see something. You could take it or leave it. It doesn't matter. If that was my kid and he was standing like that in front of a Native American elder, any elder, he'd be in deep shit. It's like, dude, you don't do that. I don't care what, unless the two of you are doing engaged in some really intense exchange of energy, which would be cool, right? And then that's all right. But in this particular case, like, nah, man. If you want to wear your Make America Great Again hat, I'm like not really digging that. But like, especially among Native Americans, Make America Great Again. When was it great for him? It was great when this guy's ancestors didn't living here. That's when it was great. But whatever, right? This is the lost tribe of the Israelis, of the Israelites. Right? Not Israel, the Israelites. So they have this idea, the black Hebrew Israelites, this is a lost tribe. So first off, those of you who are scientists in here, they think the world is about 5,000 years old. So I feel that could be a problem for many people. Secondly, they're just really aggressive and abusive to people. So they had taken on these young students with their Make America Great Again and were hurling insults at them and so on. So they started the whole process. And if you don't include that as part of the story, then we're missing something. Does that mean that it's okay for these students to do what they did? No, it doesn't. But what it means is this was a moment of intense emotion, because that kid, if he was my kid, he'd still be in deep shit, right? It doesn't matter. I don't care how many ways you might have been provoked. But it does mean that you can't begin to start down the road of the conversation until you talk about all of the pieces.